Last Thursday morning, 2nd District Minnesota Congresswoman Angie Craig was violently assaulted at her Washington, D.C. apartment complex. Until tonight, Representative Craig has not told her story, focusing instead on staying close with her family in Minnesota and healing. But today she ended her silence. She spoke with me about what happened in her only local interview to date. What happened to Representative Angie Craig was not about her politics, but that doesn't erase the impact.
I was assaulted violently, punched in the face. He grabbed my neck. He wasn't going to let me out of that elevator if I hadn't fought my way out.
Take me through it.
I came down to get my coffee from the lobby of the apartment building that I live in Washington when I'm there. And there was someone there who was acting erratically in the lobby. Immediately, I got my coffee and got back in the elevator as fast as I could. I didn't realize at first that he had followed me into the elevator. He jumped down on the elevator floor and started doing push-ups. I immediately stopped our progress because I wanted to get him to get out of the elevator. I asked him sternly to get out of the elevator, and he became very agitated at that point.
It was at that point, she said, things got physical.
He stopped me from getting out of the elevator myself, got in my face, stepped in front of the buttons, wouldn't allow us to go up, wouldn't allow me to open, and indicated that I needed to take him to my apartment. I think it was at that moment where I realized this was not going to be something that I could reason with someone on. And that's when I started fighting back.
You must have been scared.
I don't know if I had time to be scared. When he demanded to go to my apartment, all I knew at that moment was there's no way in hell that's going to happen. He grabbed my neck. He grabbed me from behind at one point, tried to pull me away again from the buttons, kind of from my collarbone this way. I had a cup of hot coffee in my hand because that's why I was in the lobby to begin with. And I reached over and poured the hot coffee on him as he was attempting to pull me back away from the buttons.
They fought for a few more moments, she said, when the door finally opened. And she ran, even when he tried to pull her back.
And at that point, I jumped out and started screaming for help. I was not going to let him get me to my apartment.
Out of the elevator, she took off down the hall and called 911, and then made a second call.
I was the first phone call after 911.
Cheryl is Representative Craig's wife.
She was just sobbing. I thought somebody had died, didn't know what was happening.
What was happening was the very thing Cheryl and she and Representative Craig's sons worry about constantly, harm coming her way. But their fear was based in the threats Congress members get on the daily these days, not on a random crime.
Look, I think what happened to me happens to people, especially women, every single day in our country. It just happened to happen to me last Thursday morning. And I also just happened to be a member of Congress.
A member who now says 5 days into her healing, she's going back to work to get help for folks with addiction, for people who need mental health support, for people who are homeless, because
this individual is homeless. He has mental health and addiction issues. He also is someone who's been violent now 13 times. How could I not go back? Because the intersection of all of these issues, that's what I'm asked to work on every single day in Congress. How could I not go back?
You heard Representative Craig reference the rap sheet of that offender. He does have a lengthy criminal history. His name is Kendrick Hamlin. He's just 26 years old. He is charged with assaulting a member of Congress, and if he is convicted, he could face 10 years in prison.